Well, we've got you mentioned social media and all that. We've got CJ Stroud, Caleb Williams. How do you think this is going to be Sunday night and play out? Caleb Williams going in knowing, hey, CJ lit it up last year and set the bar. I'm competing against this guy. Do you think he'll just be himself, or is there that little extra inside the quarterback that says, I want to show people I'm just like CJ?
I used to always think it was important for quarterbacks to know that they were playing against the defense. Sometimes, right? I mean, sometimes you can get caught up in this quarterback battle that the outside world, hey, it's CJ Stroud versus Caleb Williams. It's actually Caleb Williams versus the Houston defense and CJ versus the Bears defense. And I always thought that was important to remind those guys of that. It's a different situation. You're playing against these guys. We have a certain environment around you. They have a certain environment. Let's not compare. And I know the competitive juices get flowing, but the biggest thing for the Bears is, hey, Caleb, we got to get you to a point where you're playing the game at a higher level. Forget the guy who's playing quarterback on the other side, and I think that's what they'll try to do. And again, I think the biggest thing is to spread the burden around. Simsy and I talked about this on the show the other night. I think it's important. The easiest down to throw on in the NFL is first down. The hardest down to throw on is third
Yeah,
down. And so sometimes people get into this rhythm of, hey, we're going to help our young quarterback. We're going to run it, and we'll
yeah.
get him to third manageable. Well, okay, even
No.
if you do a good job, you're going to have a 3rd and 3 that you're going to have to make. And so if you can give him some first down completions, particularly where he can make first downs, if you can make first downs on first down against run defenses throwing the ball, that's a really good rhythm to get into. It's going to give you more plays. Then you can get the run game going, and you're attacking the defense different ways. And I think that's something that the Bears can do. On the flip side, CJ Stroud has been so impressive, and they've added a lot of pieces. Having Mixon there and Diggs, that's going to help them. I do think that over the course of the year, they're going to face more challenges than last year because a lot of teams just study them. And okay, Houston, we didn't know who they were last year. Now we
Yeah.
do. Threat. So now, what do they do well? Let's take that away. I think they're going to face those things as this season goes on. And even though I think they've improved their talent, their schedule is harder. I think they'll be more of a target. So those challenges are ahead. But it certainly looks like CJ's up to it.
Yeah, no question about it. And I'm going to throw a little theory out there. I think both of these quarterbacks are going to benefit from having defensive coaches. D'Amico Ryans didn't put it all on CJ. Yeah, he had a great year, but let's build the defense. Let's be able to run the football. Let's play solid. And I know Matt Eberflus really well in Chicago. And I promise you, he's telling Caleb Williams, you don't have to do everything. You don't have to win the game. Just like we played last week, we're going to have great defense. We're going to get the ball back for you and get you some short field. We're going to get some special teams plays and help you do it. Just know what you have to do. Be Caleb Williams, do it, and we're going to be fine. We're going to win games while you're growing.
No doubt. I couldn't agree with you more. And again, that makes the environment that much easier. And I think the other thing that a defensive head coach can do for a young quarterback is they can kind of put their arm around the guy and say, hey, this is what the defense, this is how they see you. And this is what they're going to try to take away. So it's a different perspective than an offensive coach would give that young guy. Now, certainly he needs both perspectives. The offensive coaches certainly are going to share some wisdom. They're going to help him. But sometimes when you see it from the other side and you hear that wisdom from the other side, sometimes that light bulb can go off for that quarterback and can help them, and just in terms of what their expectations are for themselves and what they need to do to win.
No question, no doubt. Well, as we look ahead to Sunday night, what do you think we'll see from Caleb? Where do you think he can make some progress from week one to week two?
Again, I think if they give him those first down throws, I think that's a good thing. I think that if they can move him, and Coach, we talk a lot about progression reads, and a progression read is, hey, I'm going to throw it to this receiver. I'm going to throw it to the tight end. I'm going to throw it to the X. I'm going to throw it to the back. Don't tell me what the coverage is. Just I'm going to go through this
Yeah.
progression, and sometimes that can help a young quarterback. Oftentimes, that's the read you would have on a movement type throw. if you came out on a naked, you say, okay, tight end to the over route, back to the tight end. And so I think if they can get him into those type of reads as much as they can, I think that can help the transition. Every offense in the NFL has those. They also have full field reads. They have reads where you're reading the safety. It's all part of it. But early on, if you can err on the side of don't worry so much about the coverage, just worry about the decisions you're making. Find the tight end, find the X receiver, then throw it to the back. That can help you play faster. And I think that's the biggest thing for him. He was a little indecisive last week. He was trying to process a lot of different things. He was having to deal with disguises. You can take those elements out by just having progression read some things and get him some completions.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to watching him. I think he's going to have that step up in improvement. CJ Stroud didn't get off to a great start last year, week one, played against a tough Baltimore defense, struggled a little bit. And, there's the stats there. Yeah, he threw for a lot more yards, but had a lot more throws and was sacked 5 times, didn't throw a touchdown pass. So some of the same things. But he, in week two, took a step, and I think we'll see that from Caleb as well.
No doubt. No doubt. I'm a huge Caleb Williams fan. I do those Notre Dame games, coach, and last year they were playing USC, and I'm watching the tape of USC leading up to the game. So I probably watched 5 or 6 games, and I am just like, this guy is unstoppable. I mean, I couldn't believe how good he was. And I was talking to Al Golden, the defensive coordinator at Notre Dame, before the game, and Al's like, "Oh, we're gonna have a rush plan. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. We're gonna have this. We're gonna force him to go left, and we're gonna disguise the covers this way." And I'm thinking to myself, that's all fine and good. Other teams have been trying to do that too. And this guy he runs around, he just makes plays. Now, Notre Dame really got after him that night, but there still is plenty of evidence on tape that he's been able to function in a lot of different environments and play at a high level. The thing that's really exceptional about this guy, and I think it's extreme to say he could play running back in the NFL, but he has amazing running ability. Amazing ability to cut and the proverbial put your foot in the ground and go. I mean, he does it like a running back does it. And I do think for them to grow and help him transition, mixing in some quarterback runs and taking advantage of that ability will allow him to settle into a game and have some positive plays. So I think that can be part of what they do as well going forward.
Yeah, I really think, especially this week, that Houston defense is very good. I think we're going to see Caleb Williams with some scramble plays that make a difference and some off-schedule plays. And that's where I think he's going to grow a little bit this week and put some pressure on them.
Yeah, he's pretty rare in that regard.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.